So, former President Donald Trump delivering a blistering critique of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis yesterday before a packed crowd in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Former president's remarks come as the latest polls show him with a dominating lead over DeSantis and other GOP 2024 hopefuls. But with well over 6 months to go before the first in the nation primary, is this lead is going to be enough for a former president to maintain to win the nomination? So for more analysis, we are going to bring in our panelist, commentary editor for the Washington Times, Kelly Sadler, alongside White House and Washington reporter for Politico. We got Daniel Lippman, and our special guests that are in studio, Republican strategist and host of the 13-minute news hour, Bobby Eberle, along with CEO and founder of Scholar Labs, Clara Del Villar. So Kelly, I want to go to you first. Very harsh words there from the former president for Florida Governor DeSantis for Florida. But, you know, is this message, though, really resonating with these voters in Iowa?
You know, I think so. If you just look at Donald Trump's poll lead, I mean, he's out by 20 percentage points in nearly every poll, and this includes state polls, those in Iowa, in New Hampshire. His lead has grown since his indictments, and you've seen Ron DeSantis's poll numbers actually drop. So he's the second in the polls. So Donald Trump, of course, is going to take pot shots against him. But what Ron DeSantis really needs to do is prove his case, prove why he is not just a mini Trump, prove his policy goals, execute on his vision, articulate his vision for America and why he wants the presidency. And thus far in the campaign, he hasn't done it. He's only stumbled over stumbled over stumbled, and he hasn't created a positive news narrative since he's really announced for president of the United States.
Great point. Daniel, while the Trump campaign has been leading in the polls against Governor DeSantis, his fundraising performance has been a different story. If you look at the combined PAC and the campaign fundraising totals for the second quarter of the year, the Trump campaign, along with the Save America PAC, raised $35 million compared to the DeSantis campaign, Never Back Down PAC's combined $150 million raised. If the president is leading by so much in the polls, shouldn't it be translating, though, to the campaign contributions, too?
Well, I don't think Trump does every major fundraising or major dollar fundraiser that he probably could. And a lot of the big donors, like the Koch brothers, are against Trump. But I think if you look at the poll lead that Trump has, and with DeSantis's money advantage, it proves that money isn't everything. And that just because you have the most amount of money like DeSantis, that doesn't translate to getting Republican voters to like you. He's always kind of had issues with his, whether his personality translates to the campaign trail. And the problem for DeSantis is that as he becomes better known to the Republican primary electorate, his poll numbers go down. And that's the wrong course to be on, because you want to be introducing yourself to voters to up those poll numbers.
Clara, Bobby, jump in on this conversation here. Clara, what do you make of the campaign money compared to the polls right now? Is Trump, does he need the money? Well, it seems like he's got the support.
I think DeSantis won a lot of acolytes for how he handled the COVID situation and how he handled schools, parents. He has a lot of support from mothers, parents who were concerned about their children's educational issues, and also the whole COVID shutdown element. So a lot of money has poured in because of that. He's also younger, more vibrant. Florida's gotten a lot of attention here. Trump obviously is a master of marketing and campaigning. The facts sometimes differ a little bit. His allusion to Iowa and the ethanol issue, that was a Republican platform. It was against ethanol, not DeSantis. So I think in many ways it's going to be a battle, but I think politics is a team sport. So we'll see how this plays out.
Bobby, what do you make of it?
Well, it's going to be interesting, and I hope the voters, I'm not going to take a side here, but I hope the voters really look at what is being said and analyze that to the reality, because in that clip that you played, John, former President Trump tried to label DeSantis as a globalist. Well, DeSantis is the one that took heat by saying that Ukraine was a regional conflict and that we shouldn't be pumping money into Ukraine. Took a lot of heat from establishment Republicans. Right. I think a lot of his support from anti-Trump people does not necessarily mean that he's a globalist. It's just not Trump. They don't want him, so they're going to get the next best guy. And right now, these are the two far and away the front runners. When you get to the debates, you'll probably only have 7 of these announced candidates on there, but it really comes down to Trump and DeSantis and see how they mix it up. The money, the fundraising has been great, but it's really going to be when they go toe-to-toe in the debates, how Trump can dish it out and how DeSantis can take it.
Kelly, let's shift gears here. The DeSantis campaign has had a long stated that Casey DeSantis is going to play a very prominent role in this campaign. We got a taste of that. We'll look at, she's been out there, she's been by his side on a lot of these campaign events, but she held one of her own here recently. Let's watch here.
Indoor and outdoor venues should be closed.
We've been told that we must deny truth, back down, and look the other way. But enough is enough.
So Kelly, talk to me about the significance of the parents' rights movement in 2024. Could this give the governor an edge over Trump with suburban women, a key demographic that Trump has historically underperformed with?
I don't really see the daylight between Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis in this issue with parental rights at all. There is a case to be said that Ron DeSantis handled COVID-19 really well. He kept things open. He opened schools as fast as possible. So he'll be touting that. But in terms of, what if children should be exposed to pornographic books in school, that CRT should be taught, all of these things, supporting school board people, conservatives joining their school board, both Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis are pretty much the same on this issue. Where Ron DeSantis might get tripped up with suburban women, in particularly, is his signing of a 6-week abortion ban in Florida, which many women, independent, conservative, etc., feel is a little bit too drastic. A lot of women don't know that they're pregnant at 6 weeks.
Well, we'll have to leave it there. All of you are going to be back here after the break, so we can expand on this if we like. We got to go to commercial, though. Appreciate all of your insight on these topics. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
There has been some irresponsible reporting about the family, and so I got to call that out here. As you know, and media outlets reported this, the Biden family was not here. They were not here. They were at Camp David. They were not here Friday. They were not here Saturday. They were not here Sunday. They were not even here Monday. They came back on Tuesday.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre grilling the White House press on the Biden family not being present at the White House over the 4th of July weekend after cocaine was found in the West Wing. However, her comments clearly didn't match with the president's schedule. Several reports show that the Biden family did not leave for Camp David until after the president finished his speech on SCOTUS blocking his student loan forgiveness program later Friday evening, less than 48 hours before the cocaine was discovered at the White House on Sunday. This is the president's staff and the Secret Services still say that they have no leads whatsoever as to who left the drugs in the West Wing. Unbelievable. But let's bring back our guest, commentary editor for the Washington Times, Kelly Sadler, White House and Washington reporter for Politico, Daniel Littman, and our special guest in studio today, Republican strategist Bobby Eberle, alongside CEO and founder of Scola Labs, Clara Del Villar. So first, let's get to this cocaine. This has been the story of the week so far, but the cocaine not found in the West Wing lobby as it was initially reported, but instead in a cubby for cell phones near the West Executive entrance that was frequented by staff. And here we have a portion of, this is a map here of the West Wing where the cocaine was discovered. Daniel, this investigation by the Secret Service has gone on for nearly a week and still no results. Are you surprised at all? Are we ever going to learn who left this behind?
This might be the Supreme Court leak that no one has figured out yet. This could be, Bigfoot assassination. If you're a conspiracy theorist, no, but it's clearly concerning that the Secret Service has not found this person. There are cameras likely in this area, but one law enforcement official told me on Wednesday, which kind of kicked up a storm, that they were not expecting. It's going to be very hard to find this suspect. Unless the person was waving the baggie of cocaine in front of the camera. So hopefully it's not some idiot intern who did that to try to impress a Tinder date. But This is the world's most secure building, and yet clearly people were able to bring drugs in, and so that raised the question of how good the security is and whether there's proper vetting of people coming in.
Yeah, the most secure place in the country, and they can't figure this out. Kelly, the president's family, including his son, don't go through the normal security screenings. In fact, members of the staff, they have to go through that security screening. The Biden family members, they don't. Should we not have a suspect by now, given this location?
We should absolutely have a suspect by now. And it really baffles me why the White House press secretary wouldn't come out and just say unequivocally, this was not Hunter Biden's cocaine. This was not the cocaine of any member of the Biden family. So let's just put that to rest. But she can't do that. And, you know, the odds makers in Vegas all have money on that it was Hunter's cocaine. But given the fact that Hunter has a court date coming up on the 26th of July, that requires him to be clean and sober, if this were his cocaine, the Biden family would want to cover this up and wouldn't want any leaks from the Secret Service. It just, John, you know what amazes me is that on January 6th, after the riots, the FBI was able to track down hundreds of people within a mile of the Capitol building, but they can't seem to identify who brought cocaine into the White House. It's absolutely inexcusable.
Claire, what does this say about the Biden administration touted that they're going to be the most transparent, administration, and this isn't very transparent. We're getting mixed reports as to where it was found, and they can't find anybody, and they've been haven't said anything about this. I don't get it.
Again, this continues the pattern of deceit and cover up in this administration. As your guest mentioned, in many ways, what's so bizarre is that nothing truthful comes out of this family and its history. From what we've heard so far on this story, the cocaine actually has been moved into 3 different locations. It started in the library, so this is the most mobile cocaine that we've ever seen. And again, with cameras everywhere, I have no doubt the Secret Service knows exactly what happened here. And if they knew January 6th what was going on with all the participants there, they know who has the cocaine and who brought it in and what the story is.
It's like a game of Clue, right?
Right.
I want to go back to you, Daniel. You're at the White House quite often as a political reporter. What's it like going through there? What's the security like? Give us an idea of what these people have to do to be in that place.
Well, it's basically like airport security, and especially if you're anywhere close to the Situation Room, which is this is maybe a dozen or 2 steps away. This entrance is where cabinet members come through, White House visitors, West Wing visitors. And so it's not a place, you're not patted down, and you're not, so theoretically you could get something passed, and that person clearly did. But I think the Secret Service is probably trying their best to do this. They're a pretty nonpartisan agency, and they realize that their reputation is on the line for securing the White House and other top officials. And so I think they're trying to do their best. And they've said that they will try to wrap up their investigation very soon, and so we'll see the results.
Bobby, I'm going to play the soundbite here real quick. This is the press secretary, Gaggle, and it was the deputy press secretary that made these comments. Listen.
Former President Trump has made some pretty wild posts recently on social media. One of them was that the cocaine found in the White House had belonged to either the president or his son. Are you willing to say that that's not the case, that they don't belong to them?
I don't have a response to that because we have to be careful about the Hatch Act.
The Hatch Act? That prevents a president from campaigning from places like the White House while they're in office. The Hatch Act wouldn't really apply here. Bobby, what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, it's outrageous. I'm still cracking up at how Daniel led this thing with, you got aliens, you got Bigfoot, and now you got Biden cocaine. I mean, the thing is Karine Jean-Pierre lectured on responsible reporting and then lied right there. And it's not like a spur of the moment press conference. She had days to at least get the schedule down, get the schedule right. And she comes and lectures the reporters on a schedule that was wrong. So there's a lot to do here, but to deflect, which she does, and her deputy obviously does too, to the Hatch Act, which has absolutely no bearing on being able to just say, no, this was not our cocaine. It's in the White House. It's not a campaign issue in any stretch of the imagination. To use that That's irresponsible reporting right there.
Yeah, and she rarely answers questions, but she could be either the best press secretary, because you get no information from her.
That's right.
Or she could be just really bad at her job. We're not sure. Thank you so much. Kelly Sadler, Daniel Lippman, and our special guest, Clara Dalvillar and Bobby Eberle. We'll be back in just a moment.
All right, friends, thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button above. Once you do, tell your friends, share it, spread the word about the 13-minute news hour so we can keep growing. And for more great content, check out these videos right here, and I'll see you next time.